It was a cheap shot. It was not a basketball play. She should have been ejected, number one. Number two, there should have been a fine that was incurred thereafter. Number three, not to say that there won't be or hasn't been at this moment, it's something. And I think that some of the ladies, not all, but some of the ladies in the WNBA are missing the point. And the point is, this girl right here is a box office attraction.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark all year. It reached a boiling point yesterday.
Can you believe what just happened to Caitlin Clark? The WNBA's rising star just got hit with a vicious eye poke by Dijonai Carrington, and it's causing an uproar. Was this a calculated move or just a freak accident? And the real question everyone's asking, why did the refs let it slide? This shocking moment has left fans and players alike in disbelief, shaking the entire league to its core.
Best of three. So Wednesday, if the Indiana Fever do not win, it could be their last game of the year. So let's check out the original angle of this play. You can see Caitlin comes off a screen here. She dribbles back to her right hand, and then she's going for the pass to Aaliyah Boston.
But before we dive deeper, let's pause. What do you think? Was this more than just a simple foul? Could Carrington face suspension for what some are calling a deliberate move? This incident has the league buzzing, and we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the debate going.
One of the things that I brought up this morning in talking about Caitlin Clark is that some of the players, you want to use the word jealousy, fine. You want to use the word envy, fine. You want to use the word resentment. We want to play with words.
Imagine this. It's a high-stakes playoff game. Tensions are through the roof. The crowd's on their feet. And then, out of nowhere, bam! Carrington's finger lands right in Clark's eye. The arena, once electric, goes dead silent. You can see the pain etched on Clark's face, but here's the kicker. No foul is called. Can you believe that? Fans are in disbelief. The noise turns into outrage. And honestly, who can blame them?
Caitlin Clark is box office. And we got to get that out the way. And I'll get into all of that a little bit more in just a second because it's very, very important that we point this out. She breaks, she fills seats. She brings the cameras. She brings national publicity. It's what she does.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. Was this a freak accident, or is there something more at play? You might think it's obvious, but hold on, the truth could surprise you. This isn't just about one moment. This could be a game changer for the entire WNBA. Want to know why? Stick around, because what happens next might turn the league upside down.
Intensity and physicality that the Fever weren't ready for. But damn it, in the first 2 minutes of this game, this Dijonai Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye.
If you thought the eye poke was bad, wait until you see what it did to Caitlin Clark's game. We're talking about a complete breakdown on the court, something no one expected from such a fierce competitor. But here's the twist. It's not just about Clark. This incident could send shockwaves through women's basketball and change the game forever. How? You won't believe what's coming next. If you're enjoying this video, just know that every second of it was crafted by one person, pouring countless hours into research, editing, and storytelling. Your support truly means the world to me, so if you could take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe, it would help more than you know. Let's keep growing together.
If you're losing that much, it stands to reason that you're a high-end competitor like she is, you're going to get called for some technical fouls. She's struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark...
Remember when Clark was effortlessly lighting up the scoreboard with 20 points a game? Well, after that eye poke, things took a drastic turn, and I'm talking everything. Her scoring dropped to just 11 points per game, and her shooting percentage hit a shocking low of 23.5%. It's almost like we're watching a completely different player on the court.
Some of the ladies, not all, but some of the ladies in the WNBA are missing the point. And the point is, this girl right here is a box office attraction. And because of her box office attraction, it's generating more eyeballs to the WNBA product, therefore more revenue for the WNBA product. Don't you think y'all are going to benefit?
Now, you're probably thinking, it's just one-off game, right? Wrong. This slump hit Clark harder than you'd expect. And it wasn't just in the stats. You could see the frustration written all over her face. She even admitted it herself. I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't fall. It was tough timing for that to happen. Imagine that. The league's brightest star struggling to find her rhythm when it matters the most.
Caitlin is on the ground, the ball goes in the opposite direction, and the Connecticut Sun score. The internet doing what the internet does, they found a second angle to this play, and this is where a lot of fans were saying that this is
where it gets even more intense. It wasn't just Clark struggling. Her teammates were scrambling to adjust. Picture this. Your entire strategy revolves around a star player, and suddenly, she's not performing at her usual level. How do you pivot in the middle of a crucial playoff game? It's like trying to navigate with a key piece missing.
On the ESPN broadcast, ESPN wrote a story after the game that did not mention that the biggest star in the history of the WNBA, the first woman to ever be the biggest star in American sports, was assaulted 2 minutes into the game on a dirty play with one of these women with these long fake fingernails that stabbed her in the eye.
And the fans, let's just say, they were furious. Social media lit up quicker than a last-second three-pointer. Everyone, from die-hard fans to casual viewers, was demanding action from the WNBA. Where were the officials? Why wasn't there a foul called? The outrage was absolutely through the roof.
From 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. A rising tide raises all boats. If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it!
But here's the real twist. This incident isn't just about one player or a single game anymore. It's shaking the very core of the WNBA. We're talking about everything. Player safety, officiating standards, you name it. This eye poke may have just unleashed a bigger problem that the league can't ignore. The heat is rising, and the league is on the verge of boiling over. It's no longer just about protecting the stars. It's about the essence of women's basketball. How far can players push the boundaries before it's too much? Whatever the WNBA does next could reshape the sport for good.
Discussion. I read this ESPN story talk. Alyssa Thomas had a triple-double and so-and-so scored X number of points and the Connecticut Sun knock off the Fever. And I'm reading the story, I'm like, where's the mention of the fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted, has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijonai Carrington stabbed her?
Think about it. 1 minute, we're locked into an intense playoff game, and the next, we're faced with issues that could reshape women's basketball forever. It's no longer just about Caitlin Clark's eye injury. This moment has opened the floodgates to bigger concerns. Let's talk about player safety. The WNBA is balancing on a knife's edge. On one hand, the intensity that fuels the game's excitement, and on the other, the responsibility to protect its stars. It's like trying to stop a pot from boiling over while turning up the heat. How do you keep the game intense without putting your players at risk? Have you caught what Dijonai Carrington had to say after that intense hit to Caitlin Clark's eye?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually.
Oh, really, Carrington? But here's the kicker. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what Caitlin Clark had to say in response to that incident?
Go back home and win.
Quickly circling back on the play with your eye, what would you say to the crowd of people that think a hit like that was intentional? Maybe even
It wasn't intentional by any means. You just watched the play. It wasn't intentional.
After the incident, Caitlin Clark struggled throughout the game, managing just 11 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds while shooting a rough 4 of 17 from the field, including a disappointing 2 for 13 from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, Dijonai Carrington and the Connecticut Sun dominated, taking full control with a decisive 93-69 victory.
He just got stabbed and assaulted and nothing. And Dijonai has a history with Caitlin Clark, like many of these girls in the WNBA, but she's at the top of the list along with Kennedy Carter in Chicago.
But here's where things get really complicated. There's been some quiet talk about racial tensions. Yes, you heard that right. Caitlin Clark, a standout white player in a predominantly black league, has people speculating. Now, no one's claiming race caused the incident, but some are questioning whether her rising success is stirring up mixed feelings among other players. It's a delicate subject, but it's something we can't just brush off.
Talk about, other than we'll talk about it here on this show. She's going to face a level of racism from black players, and she's going to face a level of hostility from lesbian players because she's not on team LGBTQ.
Now, the WNBA faces a pivotal moment. How they choose to handle this situation could shape the future of the league for years to come. This is about more than just one foul. This decision could redefine how they address aggressive play, protect their star players, and even market the league. It's almost like they're rewriting the rulebook in real time.
I love the analogy because I do think she is the female version of Pistol Pete. But I also think that, like Larry Bird, there was a reason why the Celtics had the whitest roster in the league.
And here's the kicker. It's not just the WNBA on the line. Whatever they decide could ripple all the way down to college ball, high school, and even your local rec leagues. This isn't just a league decision. It's about shifting the entire culture of women's basketball from the top down. That's massive.
We're seeing women get shine. We're seeing their shine elevate. It's deserving. It's long overdue. But the fact is, it's long overdue. And because it's long overdue, it begs the question, why the hell didn't it arrive earlier? Because you didn't have Caitlin Clark early.
But here's the real turning point. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and they've got to act quickly. Do they come down hard on aggressive play and risk alienating fans who thrive on that intensity? Or do they let it slide and face backlash? And what about the underlying racial tensions? Do they confront them head on or turn a blind eye? These are tough questions, but they can't be ignored.
It's like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season. And again, I've admitted, some of them have been exaggerated. It's just typical rough play with girls. But there are some that it's just been dirty. And Dijonai is one of these people that has a real problem with.
One thing's certain, the WNBA can't just let this slide. Fans are watching, players are waiting, and the entire basketball world is holding its breath. Whatever move they make will shape the future of women's basketball, possibly forever. We could be witnessing the dawn of a whole new era. As the dust begins to settle, it's clear the landscape of the game may never be the same. Fans are calling for action, players are speaking out, and the WNBA is paying attention. What happens next could change everything.
What do you not understand about this? How do you not realize that if Caitlin Clark is seriously injured, you are back to playing in the shadows? That mainstream spotlight that's shining a light on this dump, it will vanish.
Think the drama's over? Not even close. This eye poke incident isn't just disappearing. It's igniting a revolution in women's basketball. And here's the twist. It's not just the fans who are fired up. Players, coaches, and even the league itself are coming together, ready to push for real change in the game.
So listen to what Shannon Sharp said, and I agree with Shannon Sharp 100%. Roll the clip.
Stephen A., I would be remiss if I didn't say this. A lot of this noise came by people that were sitting on this network. They tried to minimize her, said, well, you giving her all this credit. What about the women that came before her? What the women came before her, what they did cannot be taken away. That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. But there was a lot of people tried to make sure they keep Caitlin Clark in her place.
Let's start with the fans. They're not just venting on social media anymore. They're demanding real action, fines, suspensions, the whole package. They want the WNBA to make a statement that this kind of behavior won't be tolerated. Now, imagine the ripple effect if the league actually responds. But here's where it gets even more compelling. The players are stepping up too. It's no longer just about winning games. They're raising their voices about safety, clearer rules, and ensuring that everyone on the court is protected. It's as if they're saying, we love this game, but we deserve to feel safe while playing it.
Y'all talk about that. The fact of the matter is, the kind of stuff that's happening and has been happening over the last few months is because of Caitlin Clark. I got some of the stats in front of me to validate it. Because you see, I bring receipts. And I'll get to why I'm really pissed off in a few minutes.
Now, you might be wondering, will the WNBA really take action? Well, buckle up, because rumor has it they're seriously weighing some major changes. We're talking about a potential overhaul in how they manage physical play and player conduct. It's almost like they're rewriting the rulebook as we speak, right in front of our eyes.
Minutes yesterday in a game where they needed her. It was a very physical game. Connecticut was playing very physical basketball, and they only played their most physical player 9 minutes. It's not because of foul trouble. It's not because of anything. It's because they know damn well that their most physical player has mixed emotions going into the game because Dijonai, her boo, is on the court.
But here's the twist. All this drama might actually be a blessing in disguise for women's basketball. Yes, you heard that right. This entire situation could spark positive changes that make the WNBA stronger and safer for everyone involved. Like they say, sometimes a little chaos is needed to create something extraordinary. Just imagine, if the league takes bold steps and implements these changes, we could be witnessing the dawn of a new era in women's basketball. One where players feel safer, fans feel valued, and the game itself reaches new heights. It's no longer just about protecting stars like Caitlin Clark. It's about elevating the entire sport.
A rising tide raises all boats. If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it!
And here's the bigger picture. It's not just the WNBA that stands to gain. These changes could ripple down to college ball, high school leagues, and even your local pickup games. We might be at the forefront of a safety revolution in basketball, and it all kicked off with one controversial eye poke.
Last year to this year. I mean, Caitlin is special. I mean, everybody knows that. She's been special. She came into the best league in the world, women's basketball league in the world. You know, she found her footing. She's continued to get better. She's put herself in a position to be called one of the best players in this.
Can you believe how far this has come? What began as a shocking eye poke has now transformed into a powerful rallying cry for change in women's basketball. It's as if the entire sport collectively said, enough is enough. Players, fans, and even the league are uniting like never before. They're no longer just discussing player safety, they're demanding it, and it's bigger than one incident or one player. This is about elevating the game for everyone. You know what's really interesting? This whole situation might actually pave the way for some positive changes. The WNBA could end up setting a new benchmark for how sports leagues address player safety and conduct. Like they say, sometimes it takes a crisis to spark real transformation. Who knows? Maybe years from now, we'll look back on this moment as the turning point that made women's basketball stronger than ever. Before you go, remember that every part of this video was created by one person with a passion for sharing this content with you. If you found it helpful or entertaining, please consider hitting that subscribe button and giving it a like. Your support keeps this channel going and makes all the hard work worth it. Thank you.